like to call the July 29th special board meeting to order. And we have approval of vouchers. We got.
Let's see. You want these ones or just the totals like we usually do? Totals for general fund are $47,329.01. Water fund $6,538.93. Sewer fund $2,969.31. Capital fund $60,135.80. And I would make a motion to approve all those vouchers.
We have a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
One thing that's on there too, I should, on the general, and I see it, it was brought to my attention that we didn't,
It's on.
we missed the double play, the first thing or whatever, and it was, I think, communication on both of our parts.
But we got it corrected on this one.
Yeah, so I see, I wasn't sure if it was in the last set of vouchers or not, so. it's in that one.
Basically, for your information, they'll get half now, and we'll
Right,
probably pay
that's how it
the
usually
other
is.
half in August when we do our regular
Yeah.
meeting. Okay, old business, phase 2 wastewater treatment plant upgrades. We got basically contractor amendments and agreements and notices to proceed. Do you have any comment on that, Matt?
Just, Kevin left me some instructions here. You need to do some motions to sign and date the contract amendments for NCC and SC Spencer. We haven't, well, we kind of go in order. Also, the amendments replace the wage rate schedule with the newer, with more current dated ones from the EFC. Insurance and bonds have been approved by NCC and SC Spencer. We need motions for that as well, and for the notice to proceed with those two. ENI Mechanical is requesting to pull their bid, and so we would recommend that we'll rebid that mechanical contract when we do
Rebid that when we rebid the
rebid the other, and we're looking at August 10th. We probably advertise it beginning of August, second week in August, and open those bids first, second week in September, bottom off. September 9th would be. Those dates could slide a couple days either way, but that's what we're looking at right now.
And I just,
Okay, I guess we need a motion to
They do.
sign a contract with NCC Systems. Have a motion for that?
I don't know if it matters, but it's not NC Systems, it's NCC. NCC Systems is something else. I think they do your phones or something, I don't know what they do.
that was North Country Contractors.
Country, that's right, that's what it says here.
What did I say?
NC Systems,
Oh,
they might do your,
That was my.
it's just North Country Contract.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
they might do your videos
I was
for
thinking
your
about it.
security system or something.
All right, we need a motion for North Country Contractors.
I'll make that motion that we sign that contract.
Second?
I'll second it.
Who's the second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we also need a motion for, to sign the contract for Spencer Electric.
And I'll make that motion as well, Mayor.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we got, notice to proceed next. Need a motion for North Country Contractors LLC to proceed.
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We also need a notice to proceed for SC Spencer Electric and Company.
And I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Alright. Do we need them? Let's see, we gotta, you said, mechanical wants to pull their contract, right? We need a motion to accept that?
I don't think they've done it officially yet.
Oh,
I think they're still.
They have to send you paperwork
Yeah.
stating that.
Yeah, yeah.
are
And
they,
they're,
will
yeah.
they be, there's a bond involved with that also if they pull it, right?
A bid bond, yeah.
So, but that one's still on hold yet.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's why it's taking some
But it
time.
looks like that's the way it's gonna go.
Yep, yep. And they're stating insurance is the reason, and we've tried to get them to, you know, tell us what that cost would be, and, you know, so we can work through it, but we're not getting much from them, so. Between us, it's gonna be more than just insurance for that. That kind of, you know, it's leaning more towards it might be more than just insurance, but that's the reason they're stating, so.
And it's not that big of a contract anyways. It's like 14 or something.
Something like that, $14.
So we have everything that you guys need now? or we
You,
need-
I would ask Pam, we had contract amendments and then insurance and bonds, which then allows you to do the agreements, right? It was it?
I don't know if we need anything about the insurance, just the insurance is in the agreement, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the
maybe-
only thing outstanding was the insurance.
Right, I think maybe just another motion for the amendments.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was, yeah. So those contracts were amended. You're agreeing to sign it, but you probably ought to, like to her point, you probably ought to acknowledge those amendments. And that was we changed the amendments are changing the substantial final completion dates and also the wage rates were changed in those agreements.
We need a motion to
Accept the amendments.
accept the amendments.
Yeah.
So we have a motion to accept the amendments to the contracts.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And are you set on all that
Yes,
now?
now good, thank you, Joe.
Would you say it was completion date and
Yeah, your final and your substantial and final completion dates went from February and June of 2020 to September to October 2020.
They had to
And
be-
your
they had to be-
2022, I'm sorry. And what you're doing there is you're putting it on the end of that lagoon contract
Because we're
because you're rebidding the other.
rebidding the balloons, it's gotta be pushed out.
So everybody has to finish at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Okay, before we go into new business, do you wanna talk a little bit about, you said we might have to do,
So with 5 streets.
on the 5 streets?
Yep, so we're asking to approve pay application here. And that pay application includes spending contingency money that we put in this agreement to do some extra work. We didn't put it in their agreement. That's what the EFC is going to require us to modify the Highlander contract value with a change order to include that money. So right now, with this pay application, and if you look at the EFC paperwork with the contract value, it looks like we're paying them over their contract value. And we're paying them more, and it was a unit price job, and we've used those agreed upon unit prices, and we've done extra work, which is taking contingency money out of this pot, as far as EFC looks at this, takes contingency money out of this pot and is putting it into Highlanders. So I would like to get Joe, or the board's approval to allow Joe to sign a change order, and essentially that change order would be amending the contract value to match this payment application that we're about to approve. So it's more of an accounting function on the contract.
It's basically just moving money from the contingency to the other.
And you, Joe, and Paul, and the board has been aware of all the changes and all the things we've added along the way. So it's no new work. It's just the same work we've committed to do. And at this point in the project, when we start releasing retainage, we're finally getting to the point where that contract value, the initial contract value that EFC sees for Highlander on their end of the paperwork, we're finally getting to that. Even though we still have over $200,000 in retainage. So we're still in a good spot with Highlander, even with releasing it, even with paying them over their initial contract value, because we've done a lot of extra work. So.
At our regular meeting, I understood we needed a special meeting, but thank you for clarifying that that's where we're at with it.
And so we're
kind of
getting,
brushed it over a little bit, but I didn't really get to the nuts.
we're really getting down to that point where you're finalizing all of these agreements. And with a unit price contract, and I was just explaining this to Joe, we do an estimate based on how many feet of pipe we're going to install and how many feet of road, and then when you get out there, you start, you add a little bit to this driveway, and you have to replace this curb that you didn't think you were going to do. So you never really know exactly how many feet of everything you're going to have on a project like this, especially this size. And so we always put a contingency to the side, and we obviously wouldn't want to include that in Highlander's contract, because then they will just spend it. Right, so we keep it off to the side for these sorts of things, adding, and I think this project, we added 800 feet on East State Street. So we added an entire street, and we're able to do that under the overall original budget, and just now we're exceeding the Highlander contract with that contingency money.
So can have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a
When they get it complete, it's not, they don't have it, you guys don't have it totally complete yet, right?
Right, yeah.
So this isn't final payment then?
No,
No.
No, just to move the money.
And yeah, this, I mean, we'll have to do a change order with Highlander, but it's not agreeing to pay them, it's just agreeing to what you will be paying them. Yep. The
Be able
final
to use
amount.
contingency money.
So this isn't actually a pay app, it's just a change order.
We're gonna do a change order, yep. And essentially, the change orders should match the payment application that we have. We know that number, and that's what we're trying to get here. We'll have to do a change order to increase Highlander's contract value to the amount that we've kind of agreed to pay them. You'll still have retainage, you'll still have those other things. You won't be cutting them the checks for those, you're just increasing the value of the contract.
Motion on that?
Then I'd make the motion to approve that change order.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That was it, other than
You want
the pay app and stuff.
You want to talk about Trinity at all? Just
Can we-
give the board an update?
You want, the board an update?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're still working on Trinity.
Yeah, we're still
Guymore,
working on it.
Highlander, we're
Yeah.
kind of going back and forth and whatnot, so.
We've drawn a pretty hard line with Highlander and what we expect, and I think, and part of that is always the negotiation, so part of our reasoning behind raising the bar to this point is, at some point we may, we'll be able to settle down here in the reasonable range. And if we start in the reasonable range, then we'll be settling down under what's reasonable. So we've started that process. We're really pushing them to get us a schedule and when they're gonna complete this work. And we're talking about remilling sections of the up against the curb, and then repaving top course to put some more crown in Trinity, and that seems to be the biggest problem with that. Is it's
Flat in the
It's
center.
flat both directions. It's flat going downhill, and the crown, instead of being like this at a 2% crown, is somewhere in the
It varies.
half to negative slope. There's a percent slope. So we're pushing them, and not a lot of progress on getting anything back from them, but we're getting closer. They acknowledge there's issues and they need to fix them. They're just trying to put together a schedule for when. And then we'll sit down with Paul and Joe and Highlander and arm wrestle over the exact details of what they're gonna do and how much of it.
Probably gonna be more than ours.
Yeah.
No offense, Joe, but can we subcontract that out to somebody else, wrestle?
Kevin's sneaky. We'll put
I
Kevin
thought of
on.
that. Still got their contingency.
It does need to happen, so thank you.
Got some pavers coming into town next month.
Yeah, the arm wrestling thing is probably our biggest problem. Yeah, you're right.
Is that all on that? Okay, I asked Pam to put under new business DRI program on here. Basically, I got an email yesterday from Steve Hunt and also from the county. New York State has put the DRI program back on the table for this year. There's 20 million available for the North Country. Basically, it looks like they've rolled in last year's money into money for this year. What that could mean, it could mean 2 communities in the North Country could end up with 10 million each. Or if one community had a really great project, an application, they could actually end up with the full 20 million. Talked with Cassandra Buell, and basically the county's ready to move forward with this. Bergman Associates were the ones that worked with us last time when we applied. They're willing to work with us this time. And the only thing they're asking from the village at the moment is if we're willing to split the costs on Bergman engineering fees, which we put $5,000 in the budget towards that, and I believe the fees are going to be a little over $8,000. So we'd have to be paying half of that. Myself, I think we definitely should go for this program again. Everything I heard from the last time, we were real close. We had very good feedback, and we have to have all this in, I believe it's, I have to double check the date for sure, but I think it's September 15th.
Yeah, September 15th. I read the article yesterday.
So I'm just looking for basically a motion from the board to say, yes, we're gonna go ahead and go with the county and go after the DRI again this year.
I'll make that motion.
I'm definitely in favor.
Go
also.
forward with the DRI project.
And I'll get back to Cassandra today and let her know. I told her I'd give her a call back after the meeting, so.
So I'll second that. That's a great,
See that article.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, correspondence, town agreement, site plan review, Village of Lowville groundwater project, basically, because we're running, basically the pipeline going across the property there's why we need to go before the planning board, right?
Yeah.
So, if anybody got any questions on that?
Nope.
Then we
Was
got
there any
Nick.
comments on it? Oh, I'm sorry.
What's
Was
that?
there any comments on it, or was it just that you?
I think it's just a notice, isn't it?
Yeah. So notice.
It's just a notice. they put
It's just a
in the paper.
notice out there, and if anybody wants to show up.
August 9th.
Kevin was CC'd on it.
We got correspondence from Lincoln Lewis County, Nick Altmeyer. Lowville Lions would like to use Lions Park on August 28th. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I talked with Nick earlier today, and when they're done at 2 p.m., everything will be cleaned up, everything will be in good shape, so. I don't see a problem with this, but let's run it by the full board, get your approval. Especially seeing how we changed
That's
Are
right
all
on
up
the
there.
corner, on the four corners there.
That's on the four corners, yeah.
Correct, yeah.
So I would just say, we need a motion to say yes.
What
on all
are
lines.
they, what are they
Go
doing for
forward.
an event? What are you doing for an event?
Nick's willing to answer any questions if anybody's got any.
Basically, the Lions Club is collecting film plastics, so things that you can't put in your recyclables, ice bags, plastic bags, Ziploc bags, things like that. So we've noticed as a club, as we've been collecting it individually, that we really have a lot of these film plastics, like case wraps, airbags that come in packaging, all that kind of stuff. So we want to open this up and kind of invite the community to participate too. So what we're doing on the last Saturday of the month of August is if we put out some material, we want people to start saving their plastic and just kind of have a central location where we'll have a few people on hand that day and people can just bring us their plastic. We're taking the plastic, it comes back and gets processed, so nothing will be left at the park.
What happens to it? Then what do you do with it?
So we're working with Nextrex, and basically it's called Recycle Beyond the Bag. And for every 500 pounds of plastic we collect, they give us a bench that's made out of the plastics that gets recycled. So we have a couple organizations throughout the village that would like a bench that we can donate to. So we're partnering with Tops. Tops collects all of our plastic for us. So we drop it off to them. They have somebody that comes pick it up from Nextrex. So we're thinking like Tops is looking for a bench. I think Double Play might be looking for a bench. We're also working with Double Play on this project. So like I said, this is just kind of another avenue. Right now Lions are collecting the plastics and things like that, but just to open it up a little bit and give people that one location where they can come and drop it off. I told Joe we thought about using my location, but being right there on State Street, parking is never there, and it's hard for people just to pull up and drop something off. So we thought the park might be a good, easy way for people to get in and out easily, and we just grab their plastic and they go on their way.
That sounds like a great idea. We can put a container right by Stewart's there because most people just throw it on my sidewalk. So.
Do you need a motion to approve that, or? we-
Yeah, let's have a
I'll
motion.
make a motion that we approve that event on August 28th for the Lions Club.
I'll second it.
Yep. All in favor? Aye.
Alright.
And we might come back to you again if this goes well. Our project actually runs through November, so we might want to do this again like the last Saturday of September or October, depending on how this first run goes. So if it works out really well, we'll come back to you and let you know if we want to use the park again.
Sounds good.
Does anybody else have anything before we adjourn?
This, I don't know if we want to talk about this email that Pam attached there from, about the LED lighting or?
Yeah, I think we're all set on that, aren't we, Pam, on the LED lighting at the moment?
Well, I just contacted the bank this morning about the letter of credit, and she's sending it to their municipal department, and she'll get back to me on all of that. But I don't think there's anything else right at the moment that we need to do. Unless you thought there was, you saw the emails.
No, I was just reading through it. I was just curious if we got all this complete and where it was at.
Well, we're registered with the NJUNS.
Yeah.
Contacted NIPA as far as the money, they'll be sending us a check. I told them we would finance the letter of credit ourselves, but that we weren't financing the purchase.
Right. Yeah, I see them
We
emails.
need to get the letter of credit. I took it that NIPA is providing the insurance, but I might have to clarify that.
Because I know they also wanted like 3 communities ready before they came in and started putting up lights.
Well, it sounds like Kroger with Carthage and Wilner are close, right? All right, I was just curious what was going on.
I think we're finally moving forward with that one anyway.
Hopefully, yeah.
Anybody else have anything?
Joe, I thought we were approving the pay app today too.
We haven't seen them pay yet.
Okay.
That's what, I mean, we would have been, but we haven't seen one, and I believe it's gotta go before Jeff Smith too, and get his approval.
Yeah, he had, his only comment was that it's exceeding the contract value, so we, yeah.
But I was also under the impression that you guys hadn't heard back from Highlander.
We have,
I mean,
gave it
of
to
course, this
Jeff,
was-
Jeff made those comments.
This was the beginning of the week.
Yeah. We still don't have a schedule, so, okay,
but we haven't seen anything on that.
okay. I thought that was something before, but okay.
I mean, originally it was, but it's, the last time I talked with Kevin there last Friday before he went on vacation. And he said that as of Friday, they still hadn't had anything back from Highlander.
Yeah, we're trying to get the schedule on, and we don't, and they gave us the pay app, which Jeff reviewed, or Matt Smith reviewed, and that was his comment about the change order, so I'll follow up with them, and we'll, technically, we would, you know, we shouldn't submit a pay application to EFC without this change order, so we need to do this change order
But I mean,
anyway.
we also need to see some numbers, and we haven't.
Yeah, yep. No, it was all the numbers Kevin had talked to you about with reducing the retainage to half, and yeah. So we're right where we wanted to be, but we needed this change order too, so we'll use that going forward. We'll get it ready for the next meeting. Okay.
Okay. Okay, can I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.